All wings report in.
HouseDog, standing by.
Mother Goose, standing by.
Lowtech Tuck, standing by.
Lock S foils in attack position. Animal Squadron ready for battle.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Animal Squadron podcast. This is your hairiest host, Mother Goose.
And also, you boy Lowtech Tuck. Back up
Hell
in this.
yeah. Back at it. Found him in the middle of space.
Yep, I came flying back. I saw the ship out of nowhere and I just went for it.
You know, I knew I shouldn't have gone to that system.
It's your problem, man. You were traveling through the what's it called? The Jada Abyss, whatever Abyss.
Kobo
Abyss. Yeah, there
Kobo
we go.
Abyss.
Yeah, you were
That's
traveling
where
through the
he
Kobo.
found
Yep.
Good reference for what we're talking about today.
I was trying really hard. I was reaching.
It was good. Well, today we are talking about Jedi Survivor, which came out, about a week ago, I think?
Yeah, April 28th?
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's now May the 4th, which, by the way, listeners, happy Star Wars Day.
Happy Star Wars Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. There, I got it. Will it be Star Wars Day when you listen to this? Probably not.
Nope, it'll be...
But it's Star Wars Day when we're recording
It'll be probably Cinco de Mayo, or as I like to call it, Revenge of the 5th.
Revenge of the 5th, for sure. I was just going to say, I was gonna strong no, it won't be, and then I was like, well, who knows? Maybe someone's listening to this a year from now, or 2 or 3 years from now.
That's true.
So if it is Star Wars Day for you when you're listening to this,
yep.
May the 4th be with you, everybody.
Absolutely, May the 4th.
So before we get into it, I'm just going to give you guys a minor spoiler warning. We're not going to be talking about the end of the game at all. We're not going to be talking about like any major plot points, but we will be spoiling a couple like small things that happen in the beginning of the game.
Yep.
All right, Lowtech Tuck, my boy, what you got?
So first thing I gotta say is compared to the first game, I like this one better. I'll start off hot. I think it's a lot better than Fallen Order for several reasons. Like, first of all, the stances. I love that. And especially that certain enemies are weak against certain stances, and you kind of have to figure that out during the game. But I love also that you pick two that you have of the 4 stances. I think it's 4. Is that right?
It is 5.
It's 5.
I don't know if you've made it to the 5th one yet.
So there's, as far as I know, anyway, and I mean, I don't think this is a big spoiler, but there's blaster, double bladed,
yes,
single bladed, dual wield,
yes. And then the last one is a crossblade stance. You get essentially Kylo Ren's lightsaber, but it's more like a broadsword.
Yeah, that's what I said. The first one?
You said blaster first.
Okay, there's blaster.
Blaster, right?
And then there's double bladed.
Double bladed.
Single bladed.
Single bladed.
Dual wield.
Dual wield, right?
Oh, yeah, and then crossguard. Yeah, okay.
Crossblade.
Okay, that is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, like, I mean, at my point, and just for our listeners, at this point, I'm about halfway through the game.
Oh,
and
yes.
You definitely have that by halfway through the game.
Yes.
Crossguard.
And
you have all 5. You have all 5 to choose from.
Which is really nice that it gives it to you so early.
Yeah.
And also, I guess, for our listeners, I've beaten the game at this point. I binge played it. Absolutely amazing. Again, we won't be giving any major spoilers, but we were talking about maybe here in a couple months after more people have had time to play and beat it, we might do a spoiler cast where we just talk about like in depth on the story and like how it actually ends, because there's some juicy stuff. There's some juicy stuff.
Oh yeah, well, and also even halfway through the game, I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Not only as someone who's like fairly new to games, like doesn't know exactly what I like or don't like, like for instance, I got a PC a year and a half ago. It hasn't been much time at all, but actually less than a year now that I think about it.
Yeah, because when we started this, we had to record. I had to record your audio
off my phone.
Yeah.
And that was June of 22.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean we aren't even a whole year into me having a PC. And as far as video games, or as I like to call them, vidgy games.
Vidgy games, of course.
those vidgy games, I am only really like a year into it, and so I'm still figuring out what I like and don't like. Now that being said, if there's a Star Wars game, I'm playing it. Let's be honest.
For real.
And this game was absolutely not a disappointment at all. But continuing to what I was saying earlier about the stances.
Oh,
thing.
the stances.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
And talk about what you want to talk about, and then I've got some points I want to talk about on stances before we move on to our next point.
Okay, so stances. I love that you can switch your stances and whatnot. I've never played a Soul game before, like the Souls games.
Yeah.
And this is my first.
So sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Saying we're talking about that, what difficulty did you play the game on?
I did this like I did the first one, and my first playthrough is story mode. Because that's the most important thing to me. I really want.
Yeah.
I want to see the story more than anything, and then I'll go back and I'll up the difficulty later.
I completely agree. I did mine on Jedi Knight, I believe, where everything is even.
Yeah.
Anyway, just so our listeners have some context of where we're, what we played at. Anyway, I'm so sorry to get us on another tangent. Keep going with your point.
You're good, but even on story mode, like, it is still somewhat challenging anyway. Like, I've still had fun anyway. It's not so easy that you're bored. Now, on the other hand, I've died way more times from falling than I have from enemy damage. Way more times. But what I love, as far as the stances go, is just that you pick two that are in your inventory, and you can switch mid-fight. So, like, if you're fighting, say, a big dude, and you want to do the crossguard stance because it's heavy damage, but then all of a sudden you run into another room, and there's 20 stormtroopers, then you do double blade because it's high defense. That's that's how I like to play. Those two stances. That's how I've been running. I tried blaster stance and like I liked it. Like I like the concept, but I got kind of bored because honestly, like blaster stance, I feel like you just shoot a lot of enemies and it's over really fast. It's over too quickly. It's not as fun.
I felt blaster stance was a little clunky, which I've heard a lot of people say they felt like it was clunky at first, but after they put a lot of skill points into and they really practiced with, it gets a lot better. I just was not patient enough to actually do that. It did make me wish we had, because it reminded me of a lot of how Dooku fights, minus the blaster, of course. And it made me wish we had one more stance where it was like the blaster stance, but just, fighting just the saber.
Yeah, like you could almost call it dueler stance or something like that.
Yeah. So remind me, you had the crossblade and the dual wield or double bladed?
Oh, as far as what I run, I do crossblade and then double bladed because
double bladed. Okay.
I like to have a really good offense, but if I get desperate, I like to have a really good defense.
Nice.
So I play both.
I did crossblade and dual wield, and for a similar reason, except instead of extra defense from the double bladed, I like the speed of the dual wield.
Yeah.
I felt like, and that same thing is what you were talking about. If I went into a room with a lot of enemies, I would bring out the dual wield just because of the speed. But aside from that, I was almost exclusively the crossblade. When I first saw it, I was like, that doesn't seem like my vibe. I don't think I'm gonna use it. And then I fell in love with it. It was like seeing you hit an enemy in their block stance and it take out almost their entire block bar was so great.
Oh, and then also like you hit them like 3 times and you've killed them. Like that's it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and so the trailer, they described it as high risk, high reward, and like I was really vibing with it.
I really, really liked it as well. What was your least favorite stance?
Also the blaster stance.
Yeah,
it would probably. So,
I don't know. Go ahead.
It would probably be blaster, and then the just the normal lightsaber. It's great, but after getting everything else, it just meh.
Yeah, well, in the normal one, honestly, like the reason I haven't really played the normal one is we've seen that too many times. I don't know. I'm bored of it, to be honest with you. I don't want to play just single blade.
Right, and it's really good, and if that's your favorite stance, it's valid, I promise. But at the same time, Jedi Fallen Order, like the first half of the game was just the single blade stance. Yeah, it's true. So it's nice to get a little variety.
Absolutely, and the other thing too is like with the single blade, like if that's your stance of choice, like. What I mean also by like different enemies require different stances, that's not like a total hard rule. Like, don't let that make you nervous. Like, every enemy in this game can be beaten with every stance.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch the YouTube videos, there are guys who run this game blaster only. There are guys who run this game double bladed only, and etc. You know, so like don't, you know, if you like single blade, don't be afraid of it, but also that's just what I enjoy is doing cross guard and double blade.
The double blade, my favorite part of it is the fact that you get Maul's ability from Battlefront 2.
Dude, and you can launch yourself.
Where you launch yourself.
I've been doing that so much. I've been doing that, and then also like especially like with crowds, like if there's like 20 of them, I just go crazy, especially if you have a buddy, like if Marin's in there or like Bode is behind you, like I just immediately just launch myself at them and just let them take care of the ads, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have anything else on stances?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I don't think I have anything, at least off the top of my head. We might circle back. I did want to say, so I felt like this game was a lot easier than Jedi Order. Not that it was easy, but easier than Fallen Order. What did you think?
I can agree with that, but I also think too that we're a little bit biased because we also both did Fallen Order playthroughs this year recently.
That is true. I literally
go ahead.
Was like, I would stream. Also, if you want to watch my streams, follow me at MotherGoose27 on YouTube. So I was streaming Jedi Survivor, and then after I'd finished streaming, I'd be like, man, I want to keep playing this game. So I'd switch over to Fallen Order.
Yeah, which makes absolute sense. But I think that's part of it, is that like we're a little bit biased. We're already used to playing the game. Because I remember Fallen Order, and I guess this is kind of to your point, but Fallen Order, it had been a long time since I had played a Star Wars game. I think, like, honestly, before Fallen Order came out, the last game I had played was the original Battlefront 2 on PS2. The newer Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fallen Order, and then I played Squadrons after that, the
gotcha
simulation game.
That makes sense.
The Starship Simulation, for people who don't know what Squadrons is, but But anyway, I remember Fallen Order being very hard to get into because it was so new. It was so by itself. There was no other game like it.
Yeah. And I think part of it is my last playthrough was a New Game Plus. Was yours as well?
A New Game Plus? What do you mean?
Yeah, so essentially it's you play the game again, but you get to keep like your cosmetic unlocks and maybe some of your abilities and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like starting over, but not like completely starting over.
Yeah. I did do that,
Which
yeah.
I know in the Souls games, they slightly raise the difficulty every time you start a New Games Plus. But I can't remember. Does Fallen Order do that?
No, not really.
Okay. Because I was thinking about it, because I was doing the Trilla fight, the very last one, and like she killed me over and over again. I think I died like 30 times this last playthrough.
Really?
And then I go play. Yeah, she was kicking my butt. And I was like, and that's what I was thinking. Oh, maybe they raised the difficulty a little bit, but I can't remember.
Yeah. I think Trilla also, like, I will say, having played through about halfway through Survivor, I haven't met a single enemy that was as difficult as her, I will say. I do think she is meant to be more difficult, and also with the story it makes sense. I mean, she's a Jedi, or was a Jedi.
And Cal at that point is still very
weak.
He's still rediscovering himself in the Force.
Yeah.
But so I can say, as someone who's beaten the game, that statement that you made stays true. There's no one you fight as hard as Trilla.
Yeah. But also, too, I mean, I think based on what we talk about, like what we just talked about, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because in Cal's life, Trilla was probably his hardest battle.
Yeah,
or one of them.
agree.
At least one of them. Top 3.
Yeah.
I think everyone can agree on that.
So, you want to talk about customization a little bit?
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Yes. Okay. We'll get into all the good stuff here in a second. My one complaint was that you can't customize the Mantis anymore.
You can't?
And listen, I might be dumb. I might have missed it, but I couldn't find anywhere to customize it.
Yeah.
Change its colors.
No, it's, I mean, so granted, I've only been able to play this game for the past 3 days or so.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I can't remember customizing the Mantis.
Yeah, and again, I could be wrong, but I just, when you can customize your lightsaber, BD1, your blaster at the workbench, and then you can customize Cal at any moment by pausing the game. But yeah, I can't remember a spot to customize the Mantis.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. But on the other hand, I don't care as much with how many options they've added for Cal.
I completely agree. So I gotta know what's your Cal look like? What are you rocking?
So, I grew up watching Westerns.
Mm-hmm.
So my Cal currently is wearing the red or the checkered shirt. I think I can't remember what it's called, but it's the checkered shirt. And there's like 4 different colors. There's like gray, red, blue, and then I think there's a white. I've been rocking red checkered shirt.
Nice.
I've been rocking Cal with the normal haircut. I think it's literally called Fallen Order in the game. The haircut, or maybe it's Survivor. Yeah, but it's
that. So Survivor is what it's called for his current haircut, and then I think Scrapper is his haircut from the first game.
Oh, okay. So it'd be Survivor. It's just the current game haircut. I haven't changed his haircut once. But then what I do is a stubbly beard and then a big mustache. A big old mustache. And then I've been doing the... Is it Hero? The jacket that also has the cape. Is that Hero? Yeah. I've been doing that in matching colors, so I think like gray. And then I've been doing the Hunter pants, which are kind of baggy, but in a cool way. Not like 90s baggy, but like they're wide in the thighs, but like smaller in the shins, so like they
Gotcha.
fit him well, but they come in a bunch of
Right.
different colors. So that's why I
Nice.
chose him. Yep. And then my BD1, I've been rocking the assembly mode where he looks like C-3PO in episode 1, like he's being put together. I love that.
That's a great one.
And then my lightsaber has been yellow blade with wood, as much wood as I can find.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I can confidently tell you there is a really nice like all wood set.
Oh,
of
is it
colors.
really?
So,
Okay, I need to find that.
you'll be, yeah, you'll really enjoy it. And I'm hoping to find more because I like the colors we got, but it's not exactly what I was looking for personally.
Yeah, what I was using is the beginner wood set where it's like almost like a mahogany, like a reddish,
Yeah.
a reddish kind
Yeah.
of wood, and like I like it, but it's whenever you're actually playing the game, you don't even really notice. And I
Yeah.
want to notice. I want to see it while I'm playing.
So my Cal, so I pre-ordered, so I got the Obi-Wan Kenobi set. So as soon as I heard that Cal was working with Saw Gerrera in the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this man as terrorist looking as possible.
I respect that.
So-
I respect that.
So I went with the Obi-Wan set from Obi-Wan Kenobi, the outfit he wears, and then I went with the mullet and the beard.
Oh heck yeah, dude! I haven't found the mullet yet, but I'm really wanting to make Americal. That's what I'm wanting.
Yeah, I think you can find it pretty early on, but I can't remember where.
Well, I know it's like the second planet,
Yeah,
but honestly, since I've only gotten to play for like 3 days, I've been kind of rushing a little bit, and I haven't really been trying to find the chest. But I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it.
yeah, you are. So I vibed with that for a while until I got more into the story, and I can't remember what haircut it was, but it's longer at the top and shaved on the side.
Oh yeah.
Just gave him a little more respectable look once he got into like the main story and stopped working with stupid Saw Gerrera. I will never forgive this man.
Is that just because of Bad Batch? You still
Yes.
mad?
I'm still mad, and I'll stay mad.
I mean, I will say Tech was my favorite character, so I get it. I'm mad too.
Yeah. And then I can't remember what the pieces were, but I had his pants had a little bit of it's not the commander set, but his pants had a little bit of armor on the bottom. I think you can buy them from Doma. And then I got it wasn't the Jedi set, but the top piece kind of reminded me of Jedi robes.
Oh, okay.
And so I vibed with that pretty much the whole game until I beat the game. And then I switched it again, and now I've got him rocking the commander set, which is like old.
Oh, yeah.
The old Jedi armor from the Clone Wars.
I've been
that's all,
seeing that
like,
on
beat up.
YouTube a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I gave him a bun like I usually wear and a longer beard, as he's. I looked at it as like he's going on this emotional journey and he's growing.
Yeah. I love that.
BD1, I had him white and blue, and there's a set that gives him like a little metal piece at the top. It kind of reminds me of a mohawk.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's where BD1's been rocking. My lightsaber, white and gold, and it's the set you can get from Jeddah.
White and gold.
Yeah, the colors.
Oh, the actual, like the colors of the blade or the colors of the handle?
Sorry, the colors of the handle.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then you can buy it at Jeddah. It's the emitter that has the blade on the end.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like Dooku style.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Where it's got that,
But
like,
it literally is just a knife that got stuck to the end. But I rocked a white lightsaber, actually the blade white the whole game.
Man, that surprises me so much. An Ahsoka fanboy using white. I can't believe it.
Oh man, yeah, who would have put that together? Listen, I just really like the new lore for it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I did use wood for my blaster, which I customized once to make it look cool and then never touched again because I never really used the blaster stance.
Yeah. Yep, I haven't even wasted the time to customize it, to be honest with you. Not yet.
But yes, this game really did just like, it improved on everything from the first game. This is what a sequel really should be.
Oh, absolutely. And then also, too, I know whenever it came out, there was some PC problems, like as far as like performance issues. And I played it before the patch came out. And to be honest with you, the things that they patched were just performance related. Like as far as playing the actual game, I didn't see anything that was just horrible. Most of the problems I experienced were like, it was a little bit glitchy or pixelated at parts. Mm-hmm. But then once the patch came through, I mean, that's all fixed for me. Like that hasn't been a problem at all.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I had a couple crashes on the Xbox. It wasn't perfect, but it definitely was not enough to ruin my experience.
Yeah.
Like, I still had an amazing time.
Oh, yeah. And also, I mean, obviously, I'm not the person to go to for graphics advice or what looks the best. But, yeah, I even had fun when it was glitchy and kind of weird.
Yeah.
I still thought it was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There were a couple of glitches, I will admit, where my game crashed and I lost like maybe 20 minutes of progress. Like in the moment, I was a little upset, but again, nothing even close to ruining my experience.
Yeah.
So let's talk about abilities. I really like that it didn't fall into the trap of sequels that take away all your character's abilities and make you re-get them.
Yeah, I did too. And especially go ahead.
Oh no, you lost all your powers. Gotta find them again.
Yeah. And also, like, I like how too they just rebuilt the puzzles to match Cal's abilities that he gets at the end of the first game. They didn't start from the beginning. Like, even all the puzzles you can do. Just straight up. You don't have to, worry about, can I do this yet or can I do that yet? It's been pretty much, like, as far as getting through the main story, Cal's abilities have mostly been pretty much good to go.
Yeah, I really like...
Except for a couple. Yeah.
I feel like, in terms of main story, I can't remember a single moment where it was like, yeah, there's side stuff that this happens to, but none of the main story moments where it's like, yeah, you can't go here yet because you don't have this ability.
Yeah. That was the point I was trying to make. Thanks for clearing that up, actually. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Because, like, Dathomir, for example, that was, I think, the first planet I went to as soon as I could. Mm-hmm. And you can only play through a very small chunk of Dathomir at the very beginning of the game. Like, it's very locked. Like, I think there's 2 ability caps in Dathomir, if I remember correctly, which I still had a great time, but it was really nice playing Survivor and not having to worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I can think of, in the main story mode, halfway through Survivor, I can think of 2 times that you learned abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's new abilities, which is really nice.
Yeah, they are, but yeah, I mean, it's and they're new abilities, and they're not just new, but they're things that, like, you didn't expect.
Yeah.
Like, it's not they're not annoying new abilities, like how Mac, last time we talked about Fallen Order, went on and on about the double jump thing. And honestly, I understand why not being able to double jump as a Jedi would be annoying.
Right.
But
yeah,
like on this one, the things that you learn are completely out of the woodwork. Like they're cool, they're new. The things we haven't really seen Jedi do before. They're fun.
And they improve the movement so much.
Yeah.
Like, the movement was good in the last game, but the movement in this game is just pristine.
Can I just say something that might be a little bit spoilery?
Yeah. Listen, say it, and if it's really bad, I'll cut it out in editing.
Dude, the stinking Night Sister Charm, Marin's Charm, is my favorite ability so far in general. Like, I love that.
That's the one where you can, like, essentially jump through the laser doors, right?
Yes, but when you get it, that's the coolest mission on any Star Wars game I've ever been on in my life. Like, being able to jump through, like, portal holes and stuff. And you're flying around.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I mean, on that note, I love what they did with Marin. Like, actually exploring the Night Sister's powers and not just having it be exactly what we see in Clone Wars. Like, that they had secrets. They had things to learn.
Right.
And Marin went back and learned them. Like, I think that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, to me it felt like an addition to lore, not a change to lore.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also that power
really
too
liked
is an addition to the game. It's not
Yeah.
It's not breaking the mold. It's just it's making it more fun. Like, that's all. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what do you have next, my friend?
Not much that's not story related, honestly.
Gotcha. Okay, let me think if I've got anything. I just feel like I've been bringing up a lot of the points, and I was like, oh, I should probably
Yeah.
let Tuck have a chance.
I think it's fair to say that as far as, like, actual gameplay goes, you're the guy, man.
Thank you. I love this game so freaking much. Let's talk about enemy variety.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That was again, Jedi Fallen Order was really good, but this game just brought it. It just improved in so many ways. Like, we get new stormtroopers, we get new droids on their end, but also getting to fight the Bedlam Raiders and all of the, like, separatist droids was so cool.
Oh, yeah, and I love how they use the classic Star Wars trope of that they reprogrammed them.
Right.
And that they work. Like, I love that. I think it's awesome. It was so fun to be able to play a game like that and be able to cut through hundreds of B1 and B2 battle droids. And, like, I know in videos the droidicas come up at some point. I haven't gotten to them yet.
The droidicas are really cool, but can be a pain to fight sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard they can be nasty.
I love that the B1 battle droids are one-hit kills almost always.
Yeah, but also, like, do you stay to listen to their lines? I do.
Yeah,
I sit there and
just
listen to them before I kill them.
I do too.
Because they always say such silly things, just such Clone Wars things. I love it.
One of my favorites is one of the first ones you encounter. He's standing and he's looking at this really pretty view, and he's going on and on about how much he loves the view. And then he's like, man, I really hope I get promoted, but at the same time, if I get promoted, I won't get to come see this view every day. And then I murdered him.
And the whole game, it's just stuff like that. I love it so much. Yeah. I remember one too, like, and honestly, shout out to Respawn for their just for their lines for enemies. I love it. Like, I remember another one. This wasn't droid related, but it was a clone. I mean, not a clone, a stormtrooper. And he's sitting there, and he's like on this ledge, right? And he's just sitting there, like, kind of kicking his feet. He's like, man, I hope I get out of here soon. And he's on Jeddah, and you have to, like, walk up and you have to kill him. And so I always just push him off the edge because I feel bad for him. I'm like, I can't cut this guy in half. I feel too bad.
Yeah, I'll just make him fall to his death instead.
Hey, it makes me feel better. And when I play this game, that's what it's about, is how I feel. Computer stormtrooper doesn't matter.
Listen, if I had a chance to force grab someone and then drop them to their deaths, I did.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Was it a little sadistic? Maybe. Like, there are sections of the game where there'll be, like, an area you have to jump over to get to enemies, and they'll be, like, I don't know, maybe 10. I will just sit there out of their reach on the other side, force pull them until they're right over the middle, and stop force pulling them so they drop. I'll deal with the entire party that way.
Oh, yeah, well, it's kind of fun. I mean, that's part of the fun of the game. And, I mean, we can't force push and pull in real life. It's not like you're
Right.
practicing
Yes,
violence. It's not like it's realistic.
To be clear, I would never do this in real life.
And you can't. I mean, even
right,
if you
can't.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah, find me someone who can force, push, and pull, and then we'll talk about violence.
I think that's something that's really great about this game is because it gives you options to deal with enemies. You don't just have to run in with your lightsaber.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps improve the enjoyment of a game.
Oh, yeah. No, and also I got a lot of, as far as the Force powers in this game, I got a lot more of Force Unleashed vibes.
Yeah.
From how much they upped it. I mean, it's pretty considerable. I wouldn't say that you're, like, as powerful as you are in the Force Unleashed games, because, I mean, what they did to Galen Merrick is kind of ridiculous, really, as far as the Star Wars character goes. But they made the Force so much more fun than it was in the first game. I mean, you can do anything, pretty much.
Yeah, I completely agree. And let's see. Sorry, we got on a long tangent. Did you have anything else on enemy variety?
Not really. I think we kind of covered it. I mean, you get droids, stormtroopers. Actually, real quick, you get the dark troopers.
Yes. Fighting the dark troopers was amazing.
Yeah, and I think they're still called security droids.
Yeah, I think it's DT for dark trooper.
Yeah.
DT security droids. Yeah,
which was cool. That was awesome.
Yes, for sure. So I think the last gameplay thing I had that I wanted to talk about was the maps. Mm-hmm. So we get Kobo and Jeddah, which are like these big open world maps, which we did not get in the first game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
How do you feel about that?
Well, and also we get Coruscant, too.
We do get Coruscant. It is... Can we just talk about how beautiful Coruscant looked?
Oh, dude.
Oh my gosh, it looked so good.
And that was even like whenever I was playing it when it was not patched yet. Like it was still quote-unquote buggy, and it was still beautiful. I enjoy. Yeah. I'm gonna go. Like Coruscant's gonna be the first planet I go back to whenever I beat the game.
For sure, it is. It is amazing. Mm-hmm. But yes, Kobo and Jeddah, though, really just they bring it. Mm-hmm. And this is a very minor spoiler, but something I really appreciate about Kobo is as you explore further, you get to see different biomes.
Yeah.
Which is not something we actually see much in Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is an ice planet. This is a sand planet.
Oh, yeah.
This is a salt planet or whatever.
Well, like, take like Kamino and Kashyyyk, for instance. Like, Kamino's rain and Kashyyyk is forest. And that's all we ever see. Ever. Yeah.
But we get some variety in Kobo, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. That's true. You get both desert and forest within like the first like hour or two of the game.
Yeah.
Like it's not long at all, and you see multiple. It's fantastic.
Okay, also, sorry. This game's good from the beginning.
Oh yeah. The first mission, honestly,
it's a ton of fun.
Could be considered even a little long. Like, I mean, it's like there's a lot to do in the first 45 minutes you're playing this game. You are moving the whole time.
So, like, one of my favorite games is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Really good. It was not until about 10 hours into the game that I started having fun.
Yeah.
And the game was a gift, and so I was very determined to actually beat it.
That's sweet of you.
But I'd have points where I was having fun, but most of the time I was just like, this is really dragging. I'm not enjoying it. And then about 10 hours in, it clicked, and I was like, this is amazing. I have to beat this game now. But I really appreciate Jedi Survivor for just being fun from the beginning. Like, I don't think there was a single moment where I was sitting there thinking, I am not having fun.
Yeah, well, and like even like the puzzles, which I don't really like puzzles in games, honestly. That was what, like, speaking of Legend of Zelda, that's what made me quit playing Breath of the Wild.
It did have a lot of puzzles,
and they were so long. Like, it's just like there was it was just mind numbing for me. Like, it just wasn't even fun. And this, like, I never felt that way. Even with the puzzles in this one, they're short enough and they're easy enough to figure out that even a dummy like me can still have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was a really big improvement from Fallen Order. When we reviewed it a few weeks ago, the wind puzzle.
Yes, like that was one that reminded me of Breath of the Wild. That it was so hard, it wasn't even that fun. Like it's just, you get bored and you get frustrated and you get mad after you can't figure it out after 2 hours, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, this, again, very minor spoiler here. We're talking about Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild had, I think, 120 shrines at launch, which is wild.
That's crazy.
Jedi Survivor also has shrines that remind me a lot of Breath of the Wild.
Oh, the Force Wound things?
Maybe.
Where you you meditate and then you are transported to a different area and you usually learn a new skill.
No, it literally you go down the High Republic elevators and you have to solve a short puzzle.
Yeah, okay.
There's 7 of them. Huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I will happily do 7.
Yeah.
120, there's no way. I did, I think, maybe 40 or 50 of the shrines in Breath of the Wild, and at that point I said I was done. I was not doing anymore.
I think I did 10 or 12, and I was just like, this is too many. I'm not even having fun anymore.
It was cool that you got to upgrade your health or stamina, but it was excessive, you know? But Jedi Survivor, I think, just does it so much better, because there are those puzzles for people who enjoy them, but they're not excessive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're also not required to upgrade yourself. There are other ways to get upgrades in the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, and the puzzles that are required for gameplay, as far as, to get into a secret room or whatever, that you have to get in for the story.
Yeah.
Even those I found them to be easy enough.
Yeah.
There's a couple that maybe took me 20 minutes or a half hour or something, but it was it was doable. You just...
I think...
Yeah.
I think they're the right amount of challenge.
Yeah. You look up, you look down, you look left, you look right, and pretty much you'll figure it out from there. Yeah.
Well, are we ready to talk about story just a little bit?
Sure.
Great. You know, we said, we're thinking about doing a spoiler cast, so we won't get too deep into it today. Plus, I mean, we're almost at our limit. And before we started talking, Tuck was like, I don't even know if we'll have enough time to talk about story. And I was like, no, I'm sure we'll have plenty of time. And now we're 50 minutes into the recording.
I told you, dude. I told you.
Yeah. I should have trusted you. So I'm not, no major spoilers, but this is one of the few video games that actually made me cry. There's a moment where I was definitely tearing up, and I was trying really hard not to start sobbing on my stream. It just, the story between this game, or the first game, Fallen Order, and this one is just so good. It's so powerful, and just shout out to the writers. They crushed it.
Oh yeah, and also the continuity. There's a lot of sequels out there that do a pretty good job of following the original story, but they'll go off on a tangent. But I haven't seen that once. Everything in Survivor that relates to Fallen Order is a tight connection.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any frayed knots anywhere.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the pacing is really good. Mm-hmm. It never feels slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, my friend.
My favorite thing about the story too, speaking of emotions, I've never had a game that just made me also kind of swoon and kind of that classic cartoon character just oh, he's looking at his feet and stuff because he's so happy.
Yeah.
There was especially just Cal and his relationships with people he already knew from the first game and also new people and stuff like that. It was just so it was cool to see him watch him build those, and one that I never saw coming, but was also, when you really think about it, is somewhat related to the first game, is his relationship with Marin. That was what made me like kind of swoon like a schoolgirl. I enjoyed seeing that romance. That was beautiful.
Yeah. It was like, I definitely felt like it was hinted a little bit at the first game.
Yeah.
But it was actually really nice to see it actually come together and happen in this game. I literally, on stream, they kissed and I threw my hands in the air and I was like, yes,
yeah,
finally.
Yeah. I was showing, so my wife, she loves romance stories. Like that's like, what movie you want to watch? Romance. What show you want to watch? Some sort of romance. What kind of book you want to read? Some sort of romance. You know, that's just how she rolls. She loves that stuff. And I actually, like, whenever that happened in the game, I called her over, and on YouTube I pulled up like all the cutscenes with Cal and Marin so that she could see the whole story until that moment. And I was like, you gotta watch this. And so we just sat there, and like my computer desk, there is one chair in here, and we sat there and just watched it. And she loved
That's
it.
awesome.
And I loved it too. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. It was something I was really wanting to happen.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Dagon Gera. I think that's his name.
Yep, you're right. That's his name.
So this boy's dumb.
Yeah.
Listen, he's a dummy. He's a dumb.
What you got to say about that?
Okay, so again, I feel like this isn't really spoilery. I will get into some very minor spoiler stuff from towards the beginning of the game, but what I'm about to say, not really. It's in the trailers. He's a Jedi from the High Republic that's been in cryo sleep for a set amount of time, right? And Cal frees him. And every time I was watching the trailer, and even right before the game came out, I was like, this is going to be the main villain. This is going to be the main villain, right?
Yeah.
So now we're getting into the minor spoiler stuff. Cal frees him. First thing he does is bleed his lightsaber.
Yeah.
And attack Cal.
Immediately.
First thing.
And it's also like, it's only like a quarter in the game. It's not even that far into the game.
Right, yeah. So, one, this is the first time visually, I think, that we get to see a crystal being bled. Yeah. Love that.
And also, like, he's clearly showing his emotions the whole time, and like why he's bleeding the crystal. He explains it the whole time. He's monologuing.
Cal said, "Hey man, let's fight the Empire together." All he had to do was lie. And say, "Yeah, let's do it." Also, guess what? I know this really cool place where we could go train the new Jedi Order. Cal would have helped him every step of the way to get there.
I know. Oh, Dagon.
I really like Dagon. He actually reminds me a lot of Anakin Skywalker. Mm-hmm. But I was so mad in that moment because of how dumb he was.
Dagon, you fool!
But I really like his vibe. What do you think of Dagon?
I actually, so during that same scene whenever he's bleeding his crystal, I honestly, whenever I was playing the game, I didn't see it coming whenever we were playing.
Really?
Because honestly, whenever games like this come out, I don't watch the trailers.
Gotcha.
Because I want a fully fresh experience. That's what I want from a game like this. And so I hadn't seen a trailer at all. And so, yeah, I was kind of shocked while it was happening, but also I loved it. I loved the start of it, but yeah, no, now that I've played it and we've talked about it, he is a big old dummy. Like that's just being realistic.
I still really like him as a villain.
Yeah,
but
and also too, like the whole like, well, never mind. That's kind of spoiler stuff. We'll ignore that.
So really, a lot of this game is based around, through his adventures, he finds out about this planet called Tanalorr, and it being a safe place that he thinks, okay, maybe we can set something up there, right? And then at the same time, Dagon wants Tanlore for some, like, I know why he wanted it originally. Why he wants it now, meh.
Yeah. Well, because
I think it's a pride thing.
It's like, what Jedi are you gonna train, dog? Like, what?
Yeah.
what are you gonna do, man? Like,
yeah.
What use is a Jedi temple gonna do right now?
Right.
You silly goose. You
But
silly boy.
I don't know. It reminded me a lot of the first game and the search for the holocron with the names of all the children.
Yeah.
Also kind of made me wish that these things were happening at the same time.
Dude, that would have lined up great. That would have been cool.
Right? If if it would have happened in the other order, it wouldn't have mattered. He could have took them, he
To
could have had a
Tanalorr.
safe
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Just wrong time. And I guess that's life,
Mm-hmm. But also, I think that's part of the point of the games.
Yeah.
It's like to just kind of show that, like, Cal's just doing the best he can. Like,
Yeah.
obviously he's not a god. Like, he just can't,
Right.
like, he can't control everything. Like, sometimes things like this happen way outside of his control, and he's just got to try his best, and that's what he does, and that's what I love about him, is he's just doing his best.
Same. He really is a good character.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
But no, I really like the story. I like Dagon as a villain. I like the hunt for Tanalorr. I really enjoy the fact that they're very clearly the villain is also hunting for Tanalorr, and it's almost like a race of who can get there first. And
Yeah, but that's what makes it so fun.
yeah. It's good vibes. It's good vibes.
Absolutely. And also, if I can say something that's somewhat story related, we've already mentioned it, but like the Marin and Cal romance thing, but like
Yeah.
the moment in the game where, and speaking to my point earlier about Marin's charm, but like that scene in the game, whenever you learn it and you're jumping through all those portals and you're going through, that was quite seriously one of the most beautiful pieces of gameplay I've ever seen in my life. Like, as far as cinematography,
I agree.
and as far as I mean, like, that was better than, I dare say, like 98% of movies I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
That one scene, that one like 15 minutes of gameplay right there.
It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Something else I really enjoy, we were talking about the holocron, is a couple times throughout the game, Cal mentions, like, did I make the right choice?
Yeah, he even asks Marin that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you went on the Mantis, where there used to be the plants, there's a bunch of mementos from the first game.
Yeah, and you can go one by one.
If you inspect the holocron, he also makes a comment about if he made the right choice. And I just really like that. Like,
Yeah.
I think he made the right choice, but at the same time, it's something he's going to live with for the rest of his life.
Oh, absolutely. But one thing I like, too, about whenever he asks Marin that is pretty much what she says is, you made the right choice with the information you had, is pretty much what she tells him. And
yeah,
I support that. I think that's probably the right answer.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Same. It's, again, good vibes all around.
Good vibes, good writing. Beautiful game. Play it. Play it, please,
listen,
audience. Audience, play it.
I'm going to say it.
Yep.
I'm going to say it. Peak Star Wars.
Favorite Star Wars game ever. How about that?
I agree. Favorite Star Wars game ever. Top 3 favorite Star Wars projects ever. Like games, movies, books.
Bro.
Period.
Bro.
I love this game.
That's getting after it, big dog. I appreciate it.
I would still put Revenge of the Sith above this game.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit because of nostalgia, but also it's amazing.
Yeah, but also kids' things, that just plays a part. Nostalgia plays a part, like it or not.
Exactly.
That's just the way it is, yeah.
But Survivor, I'm going to give it some time because of recency bias, before I officially rank it, but it's 2 or 3. I feel confident with that.
Yeah, I I'm not far behind you. I think I have to say top 5.
Yeah.
Just to
Valid.
feel good about myself, but still, I mean, it's up there. Like when you think about Star Wars, let's see, how many Star Wars projects have there been? Like, has there been 20?
A lot.
Has there been 20?
So I think there's 8 television shows, 12 movies.
So that's 20 right there. And the games, yeah. See,
canon games, we've got Fallen Order, Survivor, Battlefront, Squadrons,
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2. Those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head, but I think there is at least 1 or 2 more. Oh, like the Vader Immortal VR games.
Oh, yeah.
Galaxy's Edge.
So that's 3 things. Okay, so we're up to like 27.
Maybe, yeah. So
yeah, but still top 5.
It is.
I'd say top 5. Yeah. Still, even in that case, it's in my top 25%. Absolutely.
So I talked about being one of the only video games that's ever made me cry. I think besides Episode 3, Order 66, this is the only other Star Wars project that's made me cry.
Man.
That I can remember.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my friend, do you have anything else?
I can't say I do. I mean, I'm excited for more people to play this game. And also on top of that, I know Elijah's going to mention something about asking us questions, but even if you play this game and you just have something you want to talk about, please send us a message.
Yeah. Email us. And also, so with Spotify, we, most of the time it has just a basic question attached to the podcast. Like, what did you think about this episode? For certain episodes, I'll throw in a different question. Like in the last week, we talked about lightsaber design, so I specified, what are your favorite lightsaber designs? I'm going to do the same thing this week, and like if you're listening on Spotify, there'll be a little question that you can answer, and I'm going to ask what you guys think of Jedi Survivor so far. So please let us know. I'd love to hear what you guys have.
Yep.
And, as always, if you have any Star Wars related questions, you can email us at animalsquadron@gmail.com. Again, that is animalsquadron@gmail.com. We've also got that in our description, too, if you want to just quickly copy it. Don't have to worry about typing it all out. But yes, we would love to hear from you guys. We want you to be a part of this conversation. Anyway, for the Animal Squadron, this has been Mother Goose
And Lowtech Tuck.
See ya, everybody.
Adios.